Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike. I am Mike, and with me, as always, is Hannah. How are you this evening, Hannah?
Well, let's just update the listeners, shall we?
Okay.
So, we're sitting super duper casually here because I haven't had an accident with my back. My back is just terrible, and I currently can't sit. So that is one reason we haven't been recording recently, because
Yes.
I have literally not been able to sit on a chair.
That's right.
So I'm currently lying on the sofa with a wet bag on my back, and we're just crossing our fingers and hoping for the best.
Yes, so that explains our absence, but also the unusual configuration that we have going on this evening.
And I also had proper flu. So I basically slept for the best part of a week and a half.
Yes.
So yes,
Not a whole lot of Babylon 5 has been
very
watched in that
much
time.
big apologies to everybody. We didn't mean for it to be such a long break, but it's pretty hard when you can't sit.
Well.
But I've had an MRI and we'll see what they say.
Alrighty, so what are we talking about this evening, Hannah?
Let me get my details, because I'm as prepared as ever.
That's right.
Okay. Tonight we are talking about the episode 17 of season 1, entitled
Of Babylon 5.
Of Babylon 5, entitled Legacies. The synopsis says, a Minbari military leader's dead body disappears on the station. It is directed by Bruce Seth Green and written by DC Fontana.
Of Star Trek fame. So,
Indeed.
Guessing another standalone, as it's not a JMS written episode. But DC Fontana is of high pedigree.
Pretty amazing writing.
So yes, I would expect this to be very good in that regard. Also, Bruce Seth Green he's a stalwart. He's directed loads of Buffy, lots of...
You say his name far better than I do.
Why?
I find it really hard to say Bruce Seth Green.
Why?
It's a bit like Spurk and Cock.
Oh, okay,
it all gets a bit...
Fran and Soda.
Yeah.
Sculder and Mully.
Sculder and Mully. Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about this evening. Before we do so, though, a couple of quick bits of housekeeping. A reminder that we do appreciate feedback at rewatchprojectpodcast@gmail.com, or alternatively, you can just leave comments on the YouTube channel. And I would remind listeners of the regular audio podcast as well, that there is additional content on the Rewatch Project's YouTube channel, other assorted film, TV, music, and general pop cultural related goodness. Also, we very much appreciate likes and subscribes. Subscriptions make a huge difference. It drives more people to the channel, raises the profile of the channel, and ultimately results in more conversation, which is the primary motivator for doing these with a greater level of regularity. And also PayPal donations very much appreciated. But is always the case if and only if you can afford to do so without causing yourself any financial hardship, because we certainly do not want that. And also, while you're here, check out Chinstroker versus Punter, The Good, the Bad, and the Odd, Talk Without Rhythm podcast, and Film Bastards. Hannah, do we have any feedback?
We do, from the coolest of cool daddies, who commented on our last episode, Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
He says...
100 years ago?
Yeah. 4 weeks ago, it says. So, yeah.
Oh, and by the way, in case anybody's wondering, Hannah is not drinking alcohol on painkillers. These are 0%.
These are
beer.
0% beers.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like we should always clarify that.
Yeah,
because,
full disclosure, I have not had an alcoholic beverage in 3 years. So I am very much a sober podcaster.
She ran over a homeless person, you see, and ever since then she's just...
Okay, he's very much lying about that. I did dry July and it stuck.
Yeah. It stuck like a homeless person to the bottom of her car.
Okay, let's hear from Cool Daddy. So on our episode Eyes, he said, I've heard this episode called a clip show without being a clip show, but much more than this episode shows how B5 shows you the repercussions of their actions. They said, and by any means necessary, that Sinclair made powerful enemies, and here they show that coming back to bite him, breaking the episodic mould. And then he also says that bike is Garibaldi's third favourite thing in the universe.
I like the idea of being a clip show without the clips, because it did feel like, and a lot of shows do this, they find kind of creative ways of bringing up to speed new audience members.
Yeah.
Because obviously this is before TiVo or streaming. So if you missed an episode, that was it.
Yeah.
And a lot of shows did that. I mean, if you think about the famous rock throwing sequence in Twin Peaks, where Cooper's going through all of the
that was great for exposition.
and that does exactly the same. So Eyes does that as well.
And the beginning of Back to the Future does that. Like, just has such a good way of sort of giving you that, like, the clues to what the whole film is going to be about. Yeah, but
without you feeling like you're being spoon-fed.
Yeah. Without the, well, as you know...
as you know, you're my brother. I feel it's strange that you're telling me this.
Why are you saying that if I should know these details?
But should we get into it?
Thank you, Cool Daddy.
Thank you, buddy.
Great to hear from you. As always, please keep it coming.
Yeah.
I, as you know, am very needy when it comes to feedback. I like to read it all.
Yes. So we do tend to see that the more momentum we have with the recording, the greater the amount of feedback that we get. So hopefully, we will be able to accommodate.
We keep saying, don't worry, we're going to do more regularly, and then something happens and it's a month.
But regardless of that, when we're not pod faders,
No, we're not. We're not. I just have a very bad back, which, our son was a huge baby. He was 10 pounds 6 when he was born. So my back has never recovered. So yeah, thanks.
No worries. It's my fault, apparently now. You'll be pitting the homeless person on me next.
You really need to stop saying that.
but yeah, so I mean, we've done hundreds of these episodes, so we're not going anywhere. But because we've done hundreds of episodes over years, when you record over a really long period of time, life does stuff sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have these uninterrupted periods where things are incident free, but we are certainly not going for one of those at the moment. But we've got to work around, so hopefully we will be good.
Just expect a more casual posed Hannah
for
a while.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we are going to take a quick break and then we will come back and we will talk about Legacies. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
We'll chat some Babylon 5. Back soon.
Bye.
And we are back. So we've just finished watching Legacies. Which episode number is this?
17.
17. Gosh, we're that far in. Okay, Hannah, initial thoughts on this episode of Babylon 5?
I really enjoyed the... I loved the way, it does a very Star Trek thing, having an A and a B plot, bringing them together, converging them.
Well, actually, I would disagree with that because often Star Trek doesn't converge them. And one of the things that I liked about this episode is that they did converge. Often the A and the B plots of Star Trek are just completely separate for the whole episode. Oh,
okay. I thought that they tended to converge more than not.
No, I don't know, actually. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I just really enjoyed it. And I thought the performances from all characters, whether they were regulars or guest stars in this episode, were all very strong.
So there's one exception for me, but I'll get to that.
Okay. I like delving more into the Minbari culture, given that there's this whole mystery surrounding the Battle of the Line. And to date, you haven't learnt a huge amount about their processes and caste system, and you get a bit more of a context on the warrior caste, religious caste, what the differences mean. I love Delenn as a character. I think she's really strong, so it's always good to have her back in it. I feel like there have been a lot of standalones, so I feel like we're kind of getting to a point now where we need to get back to the meat and potatoes of it, and I'm sure that will happen, soon. Yeah, I loved it. What about you?
I really like this episode. I think
Yeah.
this is easily the strongest standalone.
Yeah. The
And
writing is pretty incredible.
yeah, and what I think this episode does extremely well is what a good standalone episode will do, which is and I've used this phrase before, it kind of just takes the show out for a bit of a joyride, but also it really solidifies elements of the show that you were kind of broadly aware of, but just takes a good look at them.
Yeah.
It kind of puts elements of the show under the microscope. So, for example, we knew the nefarious, somewhat totalitarian ways that Psychor works. We knew about the Battle of the Line and the tensions between Earth Force and the Minbari and the complexity of Sinclair being there. We knew that before. We knew that Dukat, their leader, died at the battle, and we knew that there was a warrior caste and a religious caste. But what this episode does is it examines those things. It reminds you of those things, and it solidifies them. And I think that that's a really strong. I mean, in some ways, you could argue that this episode isn't a standalone. It's an odd one. I think that the central story or stories of the episode, Ivanova and Talia fighting over the heart and mind of a newly born telepath, and a mystery around the disappearance of the body of a reluctant warrior hero from Minbari. They are both standalone storylines which are resolved in this episode. So yes, it is a standalone, but both of those storylines are directly connected to core elements of the show's mythology. So it's not like an old friend of Garibaldi's turns up and gets involved in a boxing tournament, and that's just got no connection to the story aside from the fact that one of
you understand a bit more about Garibaldi.
Well, one of the lead characters is tangentially involved in the storyline. But that could have been a Star Trek episode. This couldn't have been a Star Trek episode. This had to be Babylon 5 because the two guest character of the week storylines were intrinsically connected to elements of the tapestry of the show.
One thing I really liked how they did was how through the device of the newly blossomed psychic or whatever you want to call them, how they examine fundamental things about the other races. So they kind of explain more about the Narn through her learning about what she's seen in Natoth's mind.
And their attitudes towards them as well. But like the Narn see them as a resource. Yeah. And the Minbari appear to see them more
as deities.
Yeah, as deities, but also valued members of their society.
Yeah, like revered members.
Yes.
Yeah. A bit like...
There's a nobility to the way that they see
it's a bit like, harking back to Star Trek, I know, but how in DS9, the Bajorans, how they feel about their religious leaders and it's kind of that same sort of reverence and care and attention.
Yeah, and there's one of the things about the Minbari that I think works so well early on in the show, and it's one of the things that I think helped define the show away from being a Star Trek show, is they bring in the fantasy elements. They feel, they're elves, essentially. They feel more like the Narn, for example, they feel very Star Trek. But the Minbari feel like they've come out of Tolkien more than anything else. And I think that adds such a sense of mystery and sort of etheria to the show that, it's almost as though, okay, we've got aliens, we've got spaceships, but with the Minbari, it's like magic. almost.
I think one thing I really appreciated in this, as well as showing the ethereal, side of the Minbari and their elvish qualities, it was so nice to see that there's such a steel core to Delenn.
Yeah.
That she has very, very strong principles and will do whatever it takes to adhere to what's right.
Yeah, and there's something
she has an extremely tight moral compass.
Yeah.
She knows what's right and what's
wrong.
And
a lot of that isn't on the page.
No.
That's the performance. I mean, there's something that Mira Furlan does, and I'm really glad that I got to tell her this. And it's really hard to explain. It's a kind of, and this is going to sound kind of oxymoronic, but it's steely vulnerability.
Yeah.
And they're two things that shouldn't go together. Like, she seems really emotionally open and fragile, but in a very strong way. And that sounds like a contradictory thing. And I can't even explain how she does it. I honestly think it's the actress, and I think that that's kind of part of her.
Oh, 100%. And you're right in saying it's not written what she brings to it, but no one else could play Delenn the way she does.
There's a kind of startled thoughtfulness that she does that I've genuinely never seen other actors do. It's such a specific, and I think part of it does maybe come from her cultural background, from that sort of former Yugoslavia.
Didn't she say she brought a lot of her personal story to it?
Well, I mean, she had a very traumatic, dangerous life.
Yeah.
I mean, she was snuck out the country. She was extremely famous.
I remember her saying something to you about, that she really resonated with the war aspects, didn't she?
Well, she'd been there. Like, she'd got kind of, and her and her husband, that they just about got out alive. I think that there's something that she can probably call on as an actor that most people, certainly in Hollywood at least, don't have in their...
Well, there's a lot to be said for lived experience.
Yeah.
It changes you as a person.
Yeah.
And, being able to call on an actual experience that you've had is pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the only performance I thought didn't quite work, and I don't blame the actor, it was casting, was the girl, the young telepath, because she was meant to be 14.
I know, she looked about 27, I thought.
And the problem was the actress, and I think she was probably directed this way, played it like a child. So it just had this weird energy about it where she just seemed too naive and too...
A bit call me daddy.
Yeah, and I think with The Danger, I think the reason for it is Babylon 5, it was a low-budget production. It was shot, in a real sweatshop kind of environment. And I think it was just because the way that they filmed, because it was low budget and it was full on, I just don't think they could have kids working in that environment. So I think that they literally just had to cast a grown-up to play a child.
Yeah. And went for as younger looking one as they could find.
So I think that element didn't work. But I thought the guy who played Naroon was really good. And he'll come back. And I also thought Michael O'Hare was really good in this episode.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Because he's so good. And I think this is why I got the kid. He is so good at the shit, I'm stuck in the middle of this one.
Yeah.
Episodes.
I love that he conveys how vast his job is and how much pressure is on him.
He'd be the best boss ever to have.
When I was thinking about when Ivanova goes to him and it sort of explains the whole, cycle thing.
And he's like, I'll just take the burden on. Don't worry. It's going to be okay.
Yeah,
well, it's on me.
yeah. But the way he says, I will back your decision.
Yeah.
And
that's all she needs. She's like, all right, okay, I'm all right.
And he knows. But I mean, that says a lot about his judge of character.
Yeah.
She's going to think, she does have that kid's best interests at heart.
And I like the way as well that he just gives her this reassuring, everything's going to be fine face. And the second she walks out, he's like, oh, God. Like, I've got it. But he can't let her see that.
Like a hole in my head.
Yeah. He's just like, right, okay, more shit I've got to do. There's another great example of the auxiliary players being there, so the main cast don't have to be in every episode with Natoth.
Yeah.
Like, there's that could have literally been just Jakar.
Yeah, 100%.
And then them gone, Andreas isn't available this week. All right, okay, we'll just flip it to her. And it's the same with Veer, and it's the same with Linnea.
Yeah. I would have to say, though, that I'm missing Londo and Jakar. I am looking forward to a bit more meat with them.
Well,
I think that's because I know what's coming.
And I think also the writers...
I'm just ready for it.
I mean, the writers know, of course, that those actors have to be very heavily involved when we get back into the arc. So I think they're just trying to give as much material to everyone else while they can.
So it's even.
Before it becomes the Londo, Jakar and Dylan show, you know, which is inevitably where we're going to go. So, and I just like... it's the same reason why Fellowship of the Ring is my favourite of the Lord of the Rings films. I like it when we get into the Minbari culture because I like my genre cultures to have an element of the fantastical about them. I've never been a Klingon guy. I know a lot of people are really into Klingon culture. I love Star Trek and I like Klingons, all that kind of stuff, but it's not. I've never really been that fascinated. Well, it's not even that. It's not even a question of whether I would want to be there or not. But it's more just there's something so fully realised feeling about the Minbari, like right down to their caste system, their culture, their attitudes, their architecture, their ships. Everything about it just feels completely
thousands of years old,
consistent, and and the use of crystals and just. I just like spending time in that world. And I like the fact that I remember watching the show for the first time and the mystery and the ambiguity of it as well, because you're not sure about Delenn. Delenn and Kosh are very...
There's and I think that this episode kind of solidifies that to us, she's showing her moral compass by doing the right thing. But you could also read it as... she's subverted everyone's thoughts about her and done what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
So there's a strength to her.
Yeah, and I think also on the other storyline, I think the thing I like about it is both of the arguments make sense.
Yeah.
You can't just have this powerful adolescent running around reading people's minds.
No.
But
and
the alternative
they say
is
she's
awful.
a strong 10, so she's super powerful.
Yeah. So it's not just a question of sort of good guys versus bad guys. And I like the fact that they didn't feel the need to make the interactions between Talia and Ivanova combative for the sake of being combative.
Yeah.
It doesn't get personal.
No.
Between them.
They're both wanting the best for the child. They're just coming at it from different angles.
Yeah. And that's a great example of the show solidifying and exploring previously established things, because we knew the background of Ivanova's mother, but we get a little bit more information about it.
Yeah.
We knew that there were ethical questions around the way that Psychor recruit, but we got to explore that with a little bit more sophistication and it not just being they're evil fascists, But they also referenced things like Jason Ironheart. And again, the show was reminding you that this isn't the type of show that just pretends that last week's episode didn't happen.
Yeah. And I think in a sort of allegorical way, it's shown you they're kind of exploring how political arguments should be.
Yeah.
Like you can have Talia and Ivanova could absolutely be two political parties coming at it from different angles. But
And Sinclair and Naroon as well at the end,
100%. They're showing that in life, you are going to disagree with people and have differing opinions and differing views on stuff. But there's a way to do it without like absolutely trashing the other person.
And that is something that people do, I think, make too much of a big deal about the differences between Babylon 5 and Star Trek, because I do think they've got more in common than they've not. Because whilst you could say, okay, Star Trek, we're already there, certainly in the next generation of a show set later.
Yeah.
And people say Babylon 5 is how we get there. But at the same time, the satisfaction of, I always call it competency porn.
Yeah.
Of element of the show, ultimately is optimistic, because Babylon 5 is, we're not there, but you can tell.
But we're all trying to get there.
Well, not just that, yes, but you can tell that the show is made by people who believe we will get there.
Yeah.
It's not a, wouldn't it be great? It's a, this will happen, but it's going to be difficult, and this is how it does happen.
And actually, on that note, it's going to happen. And we're not all going to think the same way in order to get there, or think the same way once we're there. But it's going to be a situation where we can all argue productively about something and move forward in a compromise that works all round.
But it's not going to feel like a win for everyone, because nothing ever is.
No, nothing ever is.
That's the thing about compromise. Whenever there's compromise, somebody always compromises slightly more.
Of course.
Than somebody else does.
But, the fact that all sides compromise is kind of...
The point.
Well, it's progress, isn't it?
Yeah. And I do like the fact that the show lets Naroon come round to things at the end as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't just sort of harumph off twirling his moustache.
He's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's the warrior caste. This is how he sees that things should be.
Yeah, and you could say, that the religious caste are great and hippy dippy, but when it hits the fan, you need the warrior caste.
Yeah, of course.
It's
they
like,
all have their uses and roles and ways forward.
Yeah, it's not like one's good or bad. So,
no.
Any final thoughts, Anna? Because I do actually, surprisingly, have a couple of spoiler things that I want to mention on this one.
No, I'm ready to spoil away.
Okay, well, for those of you who are watching Babylon 5 for the first time, we will say farewell here and remind you that we do appreciate feedback. So you just leave comments here on the channel. Or alternatively, email us at rewatchprojectpodcast@gmail.com. Do check out our friend shows, check out the other film, TV, music, and general pop culture goodness that cohabits this channel, and also likes and subscribes and PayPal donations if you can afford to do so without harshing your buzz. What are we talking about next time, Hannah?
The next episode is called It's not called that. It's called A Voice in the Wilderness Part 1.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to make it.
They're not going to make it.
Synopsis says, Delen's old friend and mentor Dral arrives on the station at the same time that an extinct civilization is found on the planet that Babylon 5 orbits. A revolt against the Earth Alliance breaks out on Mars. It is directed by Janet Greek and written by JMS.
Alrighty, that should be an exciting
one.
So
I would say we're back to meat and potatoes.
It's hitting the fan. Okay, and we will be back with some spoilers in just a moment. First of all, Chrysalis as well,
yes.
and that's the name of the final episode of this season as well. So,
yeah.
And we see Delen building the thing that's going to turn her into the kind of half-human hybrid as well. Also, I like the Sinclair, you think like a Minbari moment as well. So I think this is the point where I think it's like Straczynski's committing. He's like, right, okay, this is the way the show's going to go. Let's lay it all down.
It was really interesting hearing them talk about the non-enslaving races and stuff, and you think, God, they're
going to get theirs.
Well, they've been slaves.
And they say that as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of the abused becoming the abuser, isn't it?
And they're going to be back to the abused before they know it.
Yeah.
that I just thought that was really interesting, and seeing the beginning of Talia and Ivanova's relationship.
Yep. Also, you get there's a bit more talk about Homefront.
Yeah.
You know, this building. So again, it's all bubbling and it's all cooking, and we're getting near the end of the season.
Don't worry, we know what we're doing.
Well, I think it is just that they're having to set these things up now because we're getting near the end of the season.
Well, yeah, exactly.
All right, well, that's it for now, guys. We'll be back really soon to talk about Voice in the Wilderness Part 1.
Take care.
Goodbye.